KSQD Santa Cruz. We are K-Squid Community Radio for the Monterey Bay, rising from the ashes of a previous station with a lot of energy from volunteers and great feeling from the community. It's wonderful to have all these groups come in and share what they're up to. And right after this show will be Ask Dr. Dawn. So if you're feeling unwell or wondering about your health, it's a great show to tune into. And you can also... there's one of those phones. I've heard of these before. Stop that. You ever had that happen? Never on the air, though. Well, that's okay. All right. So, as I was saying, we're lucky to have all these community groups come in, share with us. And right now, I'm very excited to introduce to you Anna Elizabeth, board member of the musical Soulmates organization, and Gina Rene, a wonderful artist who happens to have graced our studio with her presence. So let's start with you, Anna. This is an event to celebrate survivors. Tell us more about it.
Yeah, it's the second annual Let the Caged Bird Sing concert. And as we're heading into Domestic Awareness Month in October, Musical Soulmates, along with their collaborators, are have put together a beautiful musical program of different Black composers and songwriters, and it'll be at the Walnut Avenue Family and Women's Center.
Will it be outside?
No, it'll be inside.
Ah, good. You never know about the weather in this time of year, and for singers, that's probably comforting to know they'll be indoors.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So tell me about surviving domestic violence and why it's important for us to focus on this issue. You hear about it in other countries. Sometimes you hear about it in ours. There's a big headline about a musician being charged right now for multiple assaults in France. There's a horrific trial going on. Mm-hmm. But you don't know, you see it kind of come and go in the headlines. In October, there's an opportunity to say, this is a problem in our own community, right?
Well, certainly. It's one of those invisible issues and challenges that our society faces. And I think it's always a struggle for organizations that support survivors to have enough funding to be there in all the ways that survivors need, whether they're individuals or with family members, with children. There's so many different challenges to address that it's we should always have our eye on it, how we can help.
Yeah, because when someone leaves, they need to go right then. They can't put it off. They have to take their kids and get out of there. Mm-hmm. And having a place to go that's safe is really important. I know there's safe houses they don't give out the addresses to where women can go.
Right.
If you are experiencing this and you are listening, or you know someone who's experiencing this and you want to help them, there is a place you can call, the Walnut Avenue Women's Center in Santa Cruz, and they will guide you to the right place.
That's right. They've been there for so many women in our community for decades now.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of women listening who could tell their stories if they wanted to, about how that went and how they needed it right then and it was there. So is this a fundraiser to help them as well? Is it?
I'm not entirely sure about that, but I do know that it is to bring awareness to the center and to the issue. And I think part of the proceeds will go to the center as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, let me turn to one of the musicians who's going to be there, Gina Rene, huh?
Hi.
Hi, it's so great to have you in the studio. Have you ever been in the station before?
No.
Oh, welcome to K-Squid.
Thank you.
We're the home of local musicians, so we are happy to have you. And you perform a lot around the world, and I saw that you were this summer at this Shasta Women's Gathering, and you just do a lot out there in the world to highlight women's empowerment.
Yes, I love doing that. I think that because I'm a woman, in my experience, it's like we rise together. So when we come together, there's something about that we grow together too, and there's a power in that. And so in a situation like this, or for a cause like this, I actually am a survivor, and some of the people in the show, who of course I won't say, are survivors as well. And so it's very meaningful to be a part of it. I just really believe in the power of coming together, to uplift each other, to connect. And so, this show is a really powerful offering, and it's really cool to be a part of it again. Last year, or was that last year? When was the last one? Whenever the last one was, it was amazing.
It's a little over a year ago, huh?
Gosh, okay, yeah, it was so powerful to be a part of it. And then, well, of course, when I got asked again, I'm like, yeah, and it's a powerful exchange, and it's not just a show, it's an experience for those who come, in the audience, and those who are there in that way. They get to feel the music. They get to experience the lyrics, and Kate just has a really powerful way of putting musical pieces together. Like, I would say she's a genius, and I think that's why a lot of us singers, we like to come back. Why we're coming back is because it's a gift that she has in orchestrating this, the meaning and the sounds in the songs that really weave together something universal that connects to, like, our humanity, to where we can relate to, like, the pain and then the potential glory of growing through something.
That's such a powerful thing that you're doing through music, which kind of cuts through the intellectualization of the problem and the statistics. It just brings the heart right into it in a way. You could talk about it, but this is more visceral in a way, to hear someone singing about it, which we're going to do in a little while, to hear your voice. But I wanted to just get your take, both of you, on the moment we're in. A lot of women woke up to Kamala Harris running for office and just went, something's changed, and now we get to talk about these things. And the women of this country have been just watching kind of in horror as their issues have been swept under the rug, forgotten, or even made worse, by people's public statements. And I just wonder how you're feeling about having a woman of color running for president, the highest office in the nation. I'll start with you, Anna Elizabeth, and then Gina, sorry.
Well, it's very exciting, this moment in time. Certainly, it really just shows the hunger and the need for change in our country, and the fact that she has just been embraced so wholeheartedly, by so many, just shows that we were all really hungry for an alternative. And I think it's also encouraging for other women in, our communities to think about the change that they can make individually, in their own, world, in their own way. And I just hope people, especially women, feel empowered to, take a step to make their community, their life, their world, our daughters' lives, a better place. For me, I have been just looking in horror. You get daughters. One is trying to conceive right now, and thinking about, do I really want a grandchild coming into the world the way it is right now? And so, I have hope. I'm also heartened by the amount of young people who are stepping up and making their voices heard too, as well as men. Men need to really embrace taking care of a society that takes care of its women and children. Is a society that takes care of all, and that's really what we need to focus on right now.
Wouldn't it be amazing to see a nationwide child care funded? That would change every woman's life so much, because that's the reason a lot of people are on the edge. The huge amount of their paycheck is going to child care. And, J.D. Vance's answer is just stay home, have a lot of kids, and the grandparents will take care of them. That doesn't seem like a very good policy solution. It's more of an opinion about the social arrangement than it is of policy.
Yeah. I tried that.
It's
Actually
hard.
staying at home.
There's nothing
And
wrong with that. If you could choose it, that would be nice if it was a choice, not
It was-
someone telling you you had to, right?
It was a choice because I couldn't afford childcare for 4 kids, and it still made life extremely difficult. Yeah, it was very challenging economically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Gina, how about you? What's your take on this moment of for women, for the country? I know that's a big thing to bite off and chew. But
Well, I just want to say I love what you said, Anna, because I feel like we've been through so many years of different people running and being told, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And I have to be honest with you, my faith is in terms of in individuals that are running. I have my own feelings around that just because of all that we've been through. And even what we've been through with the current, administration, it's like, do I trust our government? And, there's always pros and cons, but what I want to say is that I echo Anna's reflection around the symbolism of the awakening that's happening in a way through Kamala running. And, I'm sure that a lot of people have opinions about Trump. And even though, whatever we think about Trump and the stuff that's not so great, clearly, also there's change happening on every side, really, and people are waking up. It's just there's a lot of disagreement going on. But in light of that, the beauty of basically the fact that other women are seeing themselves in her. And as Anna was saying, like, it's an opportunity for us to recognize our power. And then going beyond the women, because yes, like, we're women, and we have unique gifts that we bring to the world. We bear life. We do so much, right? That's different than men. And it is important for our men to honor us and to have that even happen in ways where there's laws and there's bills passed that are supporting us as women, supporting our well-being in life. And by the way, do you know about the Phoenix Act that passed years ago? Briefly, I'll just share because I don't know how much time we have, but I just want to share it to celebrate that there has been progress. I'm not remembering her name right now, but a very famous actress came out and talked about how Marilyn Manson had been her abuser. Rachel Evan Wood, she was the actor, and I forget, I'm not remembering exactly, but she and a senator created a bill that ended up going into law. And it was really cool because I got called last minute to go and join, and they got it into law, which then what happened is it helps survivors to have more time to be able to heal and get out of the situation, as what was shared earlier, and then get help and still have this time period, right? And of course, there's more. We need more help. We need more time even than what they allowed. I think they made it up to 5 years rather than it used to be 2 or 3 or something. But just the idea that women and people are waking up to what is possible, I think that's the real power. What she was saying, because I just have this thing about politics where I believe in voting, especially locally. I don't know how I feel on the overall, and I'm not trying to tell anyone to do anything, but I also believe that we're voting by how we act in our lives and what we buy and what we pay for, and then how we treat each other. So for women in this time, and people who are like, wow, a woman president, wow, like, this is very symbolic of the truth that women bring to the table, and that it's like we are kind of like this full picture of reality and not just like this. I don't know how much this is making sense, but I just think it's symbolic.
It's not only symbolic, but in reality, it will result in actual legislation, I believe. And when you look at the number of women in Congress compared to the number of women in the country, we're 51% of the population, but Congress is like 1/3 women or less. Okay. Mm-hmm. So we have a long way to go compared to most other developed countries. And maybe some young girls will look at Kamala running and say, hey, I could do that. Women of color, let's go. So back to musical Soulmates, because I didn't want to get too far afield, but it's all connected, right? You're performing. There's going to be activities and other things going on, but mostly music. Anything else you want to call out that will be there in addition to Gina? And then Gina, I'd love it if you would want to do a little singing.
Sure.
Well, I'd just like to mention some of the other vocalists who will be performing and the musicians, besides Gina Rene. Sage Clearleaf will also be there, along with Anthony Jones and Ariel Tierman, who you probably know, and Jocelyn Reyes. And Kate Saphir Alm, along with, is playing keyboards and piano, along with Etienne Frank and Zach Kirk Olson on drums, Etienne on bass and guitar, I suppose.
And this event, again, is at the Walnut Avenue Women's Center on Walnut Street in Santa Cruz. At what time again?
4 p.m.
Nice matinee time.
Yes.
Families who need to get home and cook dinner, it's perfect.
It is. It's great, and it's this Sunday.
Nice. Sunday.
Yes, this Sunday. It's going to be awesome.
I'm sorry if I said Saturday again. I must have a thing about Saturday because the last people I said the same thing about their event. So Sunday. You can do both because the climate event is in the morning.
Right.
What do you want to share with our audience today, Gina?
Well, how much time do we have?
We have another 15 minutes.
Oh, wow. Well, I'll just share a little bit of this song that I will be singing there. It's called Humanity. I'll just sing maybe like a little bit, a verse, chorus, something like that.
As much as you like.
I'll save you the story because that'll take too long to talk about. But I think that the song speaks for itself.
We do have time if you'd like to preface it in any way.
Okay, well, I was wearing this. So the producer I work with, who's one of my main musical collaborators, his name is Seth Million Seven Theodore. A lot of people know him in the reggae community because he produces a lot of reggae, but he's got jazz and hip hop roots. He's amazing. Anyway, we've been working together for a while, and he had made this rhythm, and he kept trying. It's basically a track, but we call it rhythm in reggae world. She knows about that. But he'd been trying to get me to write something and sing on it forever, and I was just like, no, I don't know. One night, and I came in one night really late, and I was wearing this sweatshirt I got, and the sweatshirt says, "The only way out is through." And I really like that, which I feel like that saying just relates to any kind of crazy time. The only way out is through, that we got to go through it. But how we go through it is what matters, right? So then these lyrics came, and I took that. So you'll hear. It just kind of wrote itself. So let's see what it is. Woke up this morning, oh yeah. I was feeling kind of lost, ooh. Until I stepped outside and I heard the birds sing. I felt the breeze blow through the trees and the sun on my skin. And I remembered humanity. The only way out is through humanity. Yeah, it's up to me and you to remember our humanity. What's it gonna be? I know that I feel you, but do you feel me? So many changes going on in the world. They're asking us to cope and wait on the unknown. Deep in our hearts, we feel the truth, yes we do. That we have more power than we know. So let's gather and let's go. Oh, humanity. The only way out is through humanity. Yeah, it's up to me and you to remember our humanity. What's it gonna be? Oh, what's it gonna be? I feel like that's where we're at, you know? In our story rather than his story. Our story.
We don't know how it's going to turn out. We're at a kind of a crux moment, it feels like. Now, Gina, was it your dad who was also deep into music and had a couple big hits? Is that what I read somewhere?
It's my dad and my grandpa. My grandpa is more well-known than my dad.
Tell us about your grandpa and how he inspired you, maybe.
Yeah, so his name is Leon René, And so I'll tell you a little bit of this. Well, I'll tell you the songs because people will connect to that. So one of the main songs, the hits, is Rockin' Robin. Twilly dilly dee.
Of course.
Twilly dilly dee.
Jackson 5.
You know, yeah,
Grew
right?
up with that song. I love
Okay.
it. Yeah.
And then another one, quite different with jazz roots, is Sleepy Time Down South. He co-wrote Louis Armstrong's theme song. When it's sleepy time down south, da, da, da. So it was so cool growing up with that music and like dad. So my dad is Googie Rene. I have 3 brothers, so they don't like when I say my dad. It's like, but you're not here right now.
He's yours too.
Our dad, he also made music too, and his was like boogie woogie. So he was like piano player. But just that legacy, like, is really powerful because it's like the New Orleans connection, the melting pot. We're Creole, we're mixed, and there's still so much I'm learning about my heritage. But like musically, it makes sense that even though I discovered writing later, like I didn't think I could write. Anyway, at age 20, was when I really started writing. I never thought I could. And then it was like, oh yeah. And it's therapy for me, but like, oh, grandpa did it, dad did it. And so I love it. And I feel like I'm still waking up to the legacy that's there and the gift of it, you know?
Is your grandpa still around?
No, grandpa and dad have crossed over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they were so proud of you. Did they know you were doing music? Was your grandpa alive still?
No, grandpa wasn't alive, but our dad was, and he helped like build the first studio we got to record in. So that was really sweet.
And wasn't your brother also?
Yeah, I have
Chris,
3
René?
brothers. So I got Gabriel. René was the older brother. We did music first, and then Chris was doing music with Mike, our other brother, and then Chris and me ended up going on that show that a lot of people know of him from, the X Factor.
Right. So the 2 of you were on the show together.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that like? That must have been weird and interesting at the same time.
It was weird and interesting. It's kind of trippy.
I never understand those shows where the judges, like, who are you to judge these wonderful musicians?
It was definitely awkward, and I couldn't believe that I'd put myself through that. But
Did it help you, though, in the long run?
yeah, because it helped me see what I didn't want.
Yeah.
I mean, I have stories, and I recently just started a podcast, and I was like, I need to tell these stories somewhere because it's just a lot of them are just crazy and funny. But even that day, and like when my brother went through and I didn't go through, anyway, there's a whole thing there. But in the end, the lesson was like learning to trust myself. And so for me, doing a gathering and an event like this that's really intimate and has meaning, and it's like down home style, I really like that. Here in Santa Cruz.
It's wonderful. You're on a international stage. I guess you've traveled all over the world doing your music, and that you still have a soft spot for your hometown locally to do these events it's really kind and wonderful. And Anna, I don't know how long you all have known each other, but
They've known each other a very long time, about 20, probably going on 20 years now. And I worked with Gina a lot in other different capacities and events. And,
Yeah.
weren't you the organizer of Juneteenth for a long time?
I still produce
Still do that,
Juneteenth.
yeah.
And
That's a great event at London Nelson now.
thank you. And last year, Gina, I asked her to perform the Negro National Anthem, and she really took it to heart and brought Tammy
Brown.
Tammy Brown along and did the most stunning version of the Negro National Anthem.
Wow.
Yeah, it was, everyone was just captivated and stopped in the whole park. It was one of the highlights of the day for me. And so I've asked her to come back and do it and maybe bring along a few more friends and see what we can, kind of like what Kate's doing with musical Soulmates, and creating community around music and song. And this is just another extension of community and arts and vocalists that we have in Santa Cruz. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
And I think that I know that doing this just supports the musicians in our community to keep connecting with each other, feeding each other artistically, and that's part of what Juneteenth is about for me as well, is celebrating freedom.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've loved working with Gina through so many years, and there's another show coming up that she's in at Moe's in in a
tell us
couple of
about
weeks for the performance.
Okay, yeah, so that show is, so you know Sarita, the artist? So what does Sarita call her music? I mean, she's kind of like evolutionary. She calls it evolution. Anyway, it's got reggae. It's tinged with reggae, but it's other
It's
sounds.
like it's a world. It's the sounds of the world.
Yeah, I love her music and her songs. So she's headlining at Moe's with a full band, and then I'm also opening with a full band, and then I'm singing with her in her set.
Oh, fun.
And Million Seven's also going to be with me, and then on her set too. So it's October 9th at, I don't know, when is that? Where? Moe's Alley.
Moe's Alley.
That's our other thing.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, Gina, I want to invite you to, like, if you want to do a podcast, bring it on. We have all kinds of fun things that we broadcast here and podcasts. So consider K-Squid an outlet for your stories. Love to hear more of them. And Anna, you too, like, come back and tell stories about Juneteenth. Come back and tell stories about whatever. This is a storytelling place, and we like to hear what people are up to in the community, what kind of love they're spreading around, and causes they're championing. So the door's always open.
Thank you, Rachel.
And Musical Soulmates is such a cool organization. I heard you just got your 501c3 nonprofit, so
That's right.
welcome to the fun of board fundraising.
The fun.
It is always a thing. The only reason we're here is because of our supporters. We would really, literally not be sitting here talking without a lot of people behind that you can't see.
Right.
That just said, we want a radio station where we can talk to each other and to the community. So
It's important.
it's
I
all
like it.
about that. We
I-
support each other.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends who have shows here.
All right, good. Well, tell them thanks for us, because it's all volunteer. We're all doing it out of the love. So thanks for coming by. We really appreciate it. Gina Rene,
Thanks for having us.
Anna, Elizabeth, thank you for being here. Musical Soulmates this Sunday at 4, and the venue is Walnut Avenue Women's Center.
Appreciate you, Rachel.
Yeah, thank
Appreciate
you.
you. Thank you so much. I'm Rachel Ann Goodman. Coming up next is Dawn Motika. She's going to help you with your health problems. She's live in studio today. We're so excited. But first, it's time for First Person Singular.